The same people that were, as I said, jumping up and down. If there was a dog scrawled his little paw here today, they'd be screaming and roaring inside the doll to give pain relief to them. But when it came to the unborn or a baby, they seem to have a different attitude.
This has absolutely nothing to do with the referendum. This is a simple, humane ask. That's all we're asking for, is that they make provision, as is done in other jurisdictions, to make sure that there's pain relief for the little unborn baby. Because we have a situation, we have a crisis, and we've been told that very clearly in the UCC report by medical professionals themselves, who gave their own views and who gave their experiences and an insight into how horrific this situation really is. I mean, we know that there were 100 late-term abortions in 2019, and there wouldn't have been pain relief for those little babies.
Legislation was passed in this House in 2013 for VITs, no VIT or animal care can treat in minor treatments for an animal without pain relief. And to think that the government tonight will ask their members to vote down the reasonable request for mercy and for pain relief for an unborn baby, a defenceless little child.
Since the legislation has been introduced, by the end of this year, 20,000 unborn children will have been aborted in this state, which is an incredibly sad situation. It is unbelievable that 20,000 children won't have had a chance to be born or to grow up as citizens of this country. It's equivalent to 850 classrooms of children. It's absolutely heartbreaking. And the bill that was proposed and put forward in the Dáil today is a very simple bill. It tries to seek to bring in some level of humanity, some level of compassion in this very cruel situation. And yet we have Fianna Fáil TDs, Fine Gael TDs, Labour, Soc Dem, People for Profit and Sinn Féin TDs arguing against the humane idea of introducing in law pain relief to unborn children in this horrific situation. It's absolutely shocking. And it comes a day after Sinn Féin voted in favour of allowing for abortion up until birth for a child with disability in the north of Ireland. It's absolutely horrific to see.
Do you think that the fact that there is such radical opposition to such a reasonable measure will drive a lot of people who are in the middle, in the general public, towards the pro-life side because they see that this just doesn't make sense?
I do believe that certainly that the reality is exposed by this. It's shocking what's happening, and I do believe that, you know, people who were genuinely deceived and who felt that the compassionate thing to do at that time was vote yes, the soft yes vote if you like, I do believe that those people, and I know I've had many of them in my offices, who regret voting yes in the referendum, who certainly felt months after the referendum that they had been deceived. But certainly what's happening here today, and indeed the hostility and the justification for such barbarity, really shows how cruel and harsh of a regime we have here in place.
I think that they're so extreme, some members of the Dáil inside here, they're so extremist that any kind of a move that, you know, reflects reality in relation to abortion, they don't want to hear about. I have no doubt about the same people that were literally jumping up and down there inside the Dáil in disgust of this bill, which is an absolute disgrace, because this pain relief of the unborn is what we were trying to protect, the pain, to administer pain relief. And surely be to God, the same people that were, as I said, jumping up and down. If there was a dog scrawled his little paw here today, they'd be screaming and roaring inside the Dáil to give pain relief to them. But when it came to the unborn or a baby, they seem to have a different attitude.
According to scientific research that has come to light by Dr. John Bachman and Professor Derbyshire, they have admitted that yes, it is likely that babies feel pain from 13 weeks on. And that, in my mind, it just shows us that we need to take action. I don't know what more they need. They have the scientific evidence. So what more do they need? What I think needs to happen is that the public need to get onto their TDs and need to keep onto their TDs, because this is a serious humanitarian crisis that now needs to be addressed.